Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he? Welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast after a week's break due to unforeseen circumstances. But we're back again right now. Unfortunately, my good friend Pretty Weepu couldn't be in studio today, had other engagements. But I am joined by two Northerners. We'll head north of the bridge first to our good friend Ben Searle of Surly Talk Sports. Surly, how are you, mate?
Well, those other unfortunate engagements, Melbourne Cup, and you looking me dead in the eye and tipping me two losers, Paulie. Dead in the eye. You told me they were sure things, mate. One of them lucky to even be running in the race.
Let's head on the other side of the bridge now.
Come on.
My good friend Steve Devine. Steve, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm so good at having just won the Melbourne Cup. I picked the winner. It's been a hell of a week.
So you actually picked half yours?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you couldn't go past it with that Caulfield Cup run.
You could go past it. I did. Yeah, so did Paulie.
Quite a few people did. You could certainly go past who filled the second
Goody
and third?
Two Shoes?
Middle Earth and Goody Two Shoes, second and third.
Goody Two Shoes cost me big time in all my top fours.
Oh, no. Wow. And you see that punter who put a $2 straight first four on, picked the correct order of the first four finishes and picked up just over $350,000. $2 bet.
Oh, wow.
Only has a bet on Melbourne Cup Day. So he's ahead.
He needs to spread his talents elsewhere. He's obviously the luckiest punter in the world.
Oh, gee. Well, let's get back to the footy, and I'll just check the spreadsheet. And, of course, we didn't have a show last week, but the week before, it was just me and Surly on, and Surly had three bets. He had England to win into the All Blacks to win by 1-12 against Ireland. Unlucky there. His same game multi was New Zealand to win, Roygaard to score a try, and Carter to score a try. That was against Ireland. Two of the three came in there, so no good there. And then he had Carter to score the first, second, or third try. No good there. So down 100 for Surly 2 weeks ago, and he's now down $438.27.
Struth.
I had two bets. My same game multi was ABs to win, Roygaard to score a try, and Will Jordan to score a try. That was against Ireland. No, that was no good. But if I'd placed the same game multi this weekend, the weekend just gone, it would have been good. Unfortunately, I didn't. And my other bet was England to win into the All Blacks to win, $50 on. So I am now up $1,276.58 for the season. Not too bad there, to be fair.
The smuggest man on earth.
Hold on, we'll go ahead. Better check out our good friend Steve. There he is. Steve's there. We'll leave Steve out. No.
Can we get a punting check on Pity? Can we get a balance check from Pity?
Just to make us all feel better.
Yeah, Pity Weepu is
minus
$2,015 for the season.
Is that the worst ever?
Yes, that would. Yeah, I think I can pretty accurately say, that is the worst ever. So obviously he's working on his punting formulas, and he'll come back better next year, I'm sure. Well, I hope so. Anyway.
He can't get worse.
Okay, let's get on to the footy from the weekend just gone by, and the main game for pretty much everyone here was the Scots up against the All Blacks. And in the end, the All Blacks got home in a tight encounter against Scotland. They got off to a very, very good start, Surly. And then the Scots made a big, big comeback.
Yeah, great start. Loved how we played footy in the first half. Not so much in that next 20 to 25 minute window. Discipline really hurt us there, but then D-Mac comes on to to save the day and get us a victory. So a bit of a mixed bag. I actually really enjoyed the first half that we put out in terms of the way we were trying to play. And then second half, man, just piggybacks of possession, just constant penalty after penalty, allowing Scotland to get into our area and attack. And then you had the 3 yellow cards, and it all just fell apart for a bit there until old mate came on and really saved us. You got to say, Damien McKenzie, some of the best, 10 minutes of international footy that you can produce, because without him, we would have been in a world of trouble.
Steve, we had a whole heap of impact off the bench against Ireland 2 weeks ago. And as Surly says, we got some impact off the bench again this week in the form of Damien McKenzie. But prior to that, I guess, what positives could you take out of that match?
Yeah, listen, I really feel the boys started well and made a game of it. Penalties let us down, yellow cards. But also feel confident in the fact that I don't think that All Black team would have won that match last year. They found a way. They were up against the crowd was screaming, Murrayfield's loud, and they found a way. And I just think that's they found a way against Ireland. They didn't play well at all. I just think maybe there's some of that leadership starting. What we've felt has not been there is starting to shine through, and it's the sign of a team that it wasn't their day, but they found a way, and that's it's almost razor-like that with those Crusaders teams for a long time. They just managed to find a way, and so that's encouraging.
Surly, if we look at that first half, Josh Lord had some nice touches. Roygard was solid around the scrum. The forwards seemed to have the upper hand in that first half. I think the Scottish forward pack really fought back in that second half, and I guess they were aided by the yellow cards and the All Blacks being down to 14 men for at least 30 minutes. So were you also impressed with the way the All Blacks were able to sort of fend off the challenge that Scotland provided in that second half?
Yeah, I think more so what Steve alluded to there, when you look at the players that are out at the moment, right? Like, we're missing the Barrett brothers. Those are 2 big leaders right there. And you mentioned Josh Lord. Like, I assume he's calling the lineouts, or he'd be very close to doing all that. Like, he's had to step up, a guy that hasn't played a whole lot of footy, and I thought he was really good in this game. We're missing Lomax. We're missing several key figures in this team that would probably fall into that leadership group, or at least have a voice. So I am glad that we managed to ride that change in momentum, turn it around and get the win. I think Wallace Satiti was great. I think Peter Lakai continues to really put his hand up. He was into everything. So there was still some great individual performances. Roygard was at his usual standard as well. But yeah, it did get pretty nerve-wracking. I've got to say, it was a way more exciting watch though than that Ireland game the week before. So I was just stoked in terms of, I guess, if anything, the Scotland comeback made you on the edge of your seat. It wasn't pleasing to watch, but at least it had you all bought in. I really enjoyed that first half, not so much the second, but we got the win, and I think this weekend will be the biggest test of them all.
Steve, if you look at the performance of Roygard, can you just give us a brief rundown of how you think he went?
Yeah, I think he was allowed to play a bit freer because, honestly, because we had a Southern Hemisphere referee that allowed the game to play, and it wasn't a complete slow fest at every single ruck. So he was allowed a bit of freedom to run. He was allowed a bit of freedom at ruck time to move the ball quickly, and that allowed a game of rugby to happen. And heavens forbid that. That's the coolest thing. I have looked forward, and I have seen that we've got a couple of Frenchies this weekend. So I'm not even sure I'm going to watch, because I already know the outcome. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be a painful watch for both teams. And so I think I'll leave it there.
Steve, can I ask around, because this rule always does my head in, that intercept gone wrong ends up being a card. What's your thoughts on it? Because I think there's differences in how it happens, right? And we see other codes, it's just like a knock on. Do you think it should still be a yellow? I find a lot of those pretty harsh.
sometimes it's just a straight reaction, and you don't even know you've stuck your hand out because that's what the human body does, and
Yeah.
I find that's hard. I do find there's sometimes people are trying to knock the ball down just to stop a try, and that should be a penalty or worse. It's part of the game. It is. Other codes allow it. This code doesn't, and I just, you stick your hand out and you get a touch on it and you don't catch it, then it is it's a penalty and probably a yellow card if there's someone outside of them. So it is what it is. I don't think we're going to change it anytime soon. I think the player using their hand to go upwards is not a deliberate knockdown. So that motion is better. But sometimes it's a reaction more so than anything else, which I don't think is entirely fair.
No, I guess if you're going to go for the intercept, then you better make sure you bloody well get it, because if you don't, then it's almost certainly going to be a penalty and quite possibly a yellow card as well. So it's just I think the onus goes back on players to weigh the option up and make a split-second decision as to whether to go for it. And if they're in a position where they think there's a chance that they can get it fully, absolutely go for it. And I agree with Steve. If you're making an upward motion with your hand, then you can't be adjudicated as you're deliberately trying to knock it down. So I hope there's a wee bit of sort of wiggle room there for if players do go with an upward motion as opposed to a downward motion, which just means that they are just deliberately trying to stop the ball from getting outside them and into a scoring position.
Speaking of yellow cards, can we just jump into the red card that happened over the weekend?
Yeah.
How cool was it to see a red card?
Straight up.
Straight red too. Gone.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing for me. That had intent, and no one has a drama with it. There was intent there to intentionally hurt someone around the head, and it's a red card. See you later. I think well done, and long may it continue. There has to be intent for a red card.
I think looking back, it was a fairly easy decision for the referee to make. It was quite blatant. I can't remember whether the referee could see it with an unobstructed view. I think he was very close to the action, but there was no attempt to wrap arms around or anything like that. For mine, Searley, it was a very easy decision for the referee to make.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the odd one out here. I think it was worthy of a bin, but I can see that he made an attempt to get as low as he possibly could. He's about 9 foot tall, right? And he couldn't get any lower than that. He would say that he made a very late attempt to wrap. I would say that was shoulder to the head for sure. The only thing that I could excuse was the height at which the contact was made at. But he could see that was a player vulnerable to be. That's a dangerous position to be put in, right? And you can't defend yourself at all. So I do agree with the red. I don't know if it was the full red or not. I'm sure South African fans will probably agree with me, and they're very vocal about that. But yeah, like I don't mind either way, to be honest. If that was an All Blacks game, I'd probably feel a little more strongly about it. But
let's stick with the French Springbok game for now. And Steve, are the Springboks the best team in the world, or are they playing the best rugby in the world right now? I mean, they're World Cup champions, but are they also the number one team in the world in terms of the rugby that they're playing? But I mean, it's very hard to go to France and beat France, being down a guy for almost the entirety of the game.
Yeah, South Africans are very, very good at what they do. They're no doubt they're the best team in the world. They're the number one team in the world ranked, and they're also on paper essentially the best team in the world. They're playing very good rugby. I just think the French, they tried to out South Africa, and you're never going to do that. And I think they'd be very disappointed with that performance there, because the French have flair, right? They can throw the ball around as good as anyone, and they just really didn't try to play that game. They tried to play South African style rugby and got murdered And quite frankly, the Africans probably could have had 2 men down and still got the same job. You just cannot beat them playing how they want to play.
Surly, the French, they've got their own bomb squad apparently, and it's not quite working the same as the South African bomb squad, but South Africa were very, very impressive against France.
Yeah, I think the way they finished too was really impressive. Given the first 20 minutes, man, the French 4-pack came out to play, and they were physical, but they just couldn't keep it up for the full 80. Like Steve said, if you're trying to out South Africa, then you're in trouble. And I think what South Africa have shown over the more recent couple of years is they can play at tempo, they can play at speed, and they can move the ball as well. So they've got this ability now to play multiple different styles of footy. And I think they, in that game, showed 2 or 3 of them. And in the end, they were just, too good for the French. And well done to Khaleesi as well. I think that was his 100th test.
Yeah.
And what a player, what a person, what an advocate for South African rugby and just world rugby in general.
I was surprised he only got 40 minutes.
Yeah.
In his swan song 100th game, and then they give him half a match. I was a bit surprised by that.
Did you see the Twitter stuff where Rassi, the only person he was following on his Twitter was the French rugby team, and now he's unfollowed them, and that's his thing for the week, is he follows that team that he's playing on Twitter, and that's it. I don't know if Razor needs to get into that. It seems to be working though.
The mind games.
Does anyone even check their Twitter? I don't know. Rassi certainly does. It said following one, and it was France, and then now he's unfollowed them and he's moved on to the next target.
I've heard he just, on a random day, he'll just get everyone into a room and just lock the doors, and everyone's got to get drunk.
No wonder they play for him.
Yeah, my kind of cake.
Yeah, and they just love it, and they don't just get drunk; they get really, really drunk, and it's like, wow, bring back the good old days.
Yeah, this is club footy times 100. Love it.
Are we talking about your days, Steve? Is that what you say?
Oh, listen, we may have done that a few times. But
did it lead to wins?
Like most weekends, most Saturdays after a game, really. No, that's a good way to bring a team closer together.
Well, it certainly brought them close. Well, whatever they're doing in South Africa, it certainly brought them closer together. And I've got a question for both of you around that. Has South Africa moving to the Northern Hemisphere with their club teams, their provinces, been, I guess, just an absolute success for them, for the national team? Since leaving Super Rugby, has their move to the Northern Hemisphere meant that they have progressed their game, I guess, a lot quicker than maybe they would have if they were still in Super Rugby? Steve?
I think definitely. I think they've found an alternative way to play, and that Northern Hemisphere style probably suits them more than the Southern Hemisphere style. And they've got that Northern Hemisphere style down packed, and they can go back to it when they're a man down and still be successful. And you can see them trying to develop now the Southern Hemisphere style. But yeah, I think it has helped. They're big men, and they relish those physical Northern Hemisphere style battles where it's a bit slower, and they rely on their big men up front. And that's worked really well for them, and that's what it is. So you just say that it's been an absolute success for them to learn that Northern Hemisphere style week in, week out.
Shirley, I guess the Northern Hemisphere style of officiating would also sort of suit their game as well. Very much a stop-start, focused on set pieces, which they really have over the last 2-3 years, just dominated most teams in.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter. And I think I saw a team list not too long ago of one of their competition sides, and there was 20 Springboks in there. Like the combinations that they've been able to establish as well, just playing together week in and week out over in the north has been huge for them. So yeah, I guess you could say that they've taken on that style of rugby. They've always had a massive 4-pack and loved that physical stuff. And now with Tony Brown there, he's trying to add a bit of razzle and a bit of layering on top of that too. But yeah, they're a deadly team, and you can't really see it ending, right? These young guys that they're pulling through look just as good, if not better.
If we just go back to the All Blacks for just a final time, the score was 17-14. I think the ball went wide with Scotland, and a covering tackle by Cam Roygard stopped the winger from dotting down, which would have made the score 19-17 with a kick to come, Surly. Do the All Blacks still come back if that's the case?
I'd like to think my mate D-Max still manages to pull something off, but I will say we scrambled incredibly well, right? And our goal line D was really good. I felt like we lost a lot of collisions around the paddock and we gave away some meters in contact that we wouldn't have been happy with in that second half. But one thing we did do well was scramble and body on the line when we needed to. And yeah, stopping something like that can give a team a massive amount of energy, right? And it can flip things back on its head. I'd like to say we still would have been good enough to win the game. I guess we won't know, but that would have been that was a huge moment in this contest, 100%.
Steve, the defense was at times very, very good from the All Blacks, especially goal line. They stopped another couple of tries, which would have made a difference in the game. But were you happy with how the defense was overall from the All Blacks?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think we may have got skinned at centre a few times. I think Leicester got caught out, so I'm not sure if he will play there again this weekend. I think they might actually move him to the wing possibly and bring in Billy Proctor. That was my gut feel. I just think they found a bit of space through not through the midfield, but sort of around the edge of the midfield. I thought he got skinned a couple of times, but yeah, defense was certainly very good and probably won us the game, to be fair. There's some sort of crazy stat that I read a little while ago. I think it was 35 points. If the All Blacks allow 35 points to the opposition, they've never won a game of rugby.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think it's So if they concede 30, might have been 35 points. If they concede 35 points, they've never won a match. So it's good that our D is strong. It's going to need to be this weekend because there's some heat coming from this English pack.
Let's have a look at a couple of the other results from over the weekend. England 38-18 over Fiji. The final scoreline, I don't think, is a true representation of just how well Fiji played. And they bombed a try with, who was it? I think it was the halfback, sliding over the line and then trying to change hands and knocking the ball on, which would have made the game very, very interesting. In fact, they were only behind, was it 21-18 with just over 20 minutes to go, Surly. And then just I guess once again, there was a bit of impact off the bench for the English team, which the All Blacks better look out for this weekend. But Fiji played very, very well.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be World Cup upset all over again. I was getting really excited, but unfortunately, like you said, England just have that full squad, don't they? And they have some danger off the bench. They've got a really strong pack and they've got some strike in the back line as well. So, yeah, well done to Fiji. They stayed in the fight. They were down a couple troops too. It wasn't their strongest, like 100% strongest side, but that's that Fiji that we expect now, right? They're physical. They can move the ball. They can do that exciting stuff, but they can also play a tough game, and they're not afraid of teams like England because they've bet them before now, which is so cool to see.
Steve, that English team, they will certainly put up a significant challenge to the All Blacks this weekend. Were you impressed with how they went overall against Fiji?
Yeah, it was England. They don't change a lot. I think it's going to be pretty easy this weekend. As soon as you hear the team lineups, whether it be Finn Smith or George Ford at number 10, you know what game's coming. So, yeah, they're just big boys. They're big men, and they want. I really think they're going to go with Ford and play that real physical, slow match with lots and lots and lots and lots of kicking. They will kick to our back three all day. Like if you want to see some kicking, then this is the game to watch. If
Yeah,
you
it's
want
going
to
to
see
be
some running rugby, I think you may as well not even get up.
yeah, it's going to be an aerial assault, right? And we've seen the All Black team struggle with that, especially without Caleb Clark back there. So
Then add in a Northern Hemisphere referee.
yeah, Steve sounds first. This is the perfect trio for him.
Yeah, listen, don't call me on Sunday morning. I'll still be in bed, team.
We'll have a look at one other game from the weekend, and the Italians upset the Wallabies, and how ironic that a couple of sons of former Wallabies scored the final 2 tries that got Italy over the line after Joseph Suaalii was sent to the bin for 10 minutes. Steve, you concerned about the Wallabies and how they're going at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh, I have never, and I repeat, never been concerned about the Wallabies. No, it's just great to watch, isn't it? It's just great to see them in all sorts of trouble. I think they've just had too big of a year. I think they've had the Lions and the pressure and the format and the rugby. They've had rugby championship. You know, they went to Africa and had a win, and then they've struggled past that. I just think they're spent. There a lot of time and effort's gone into that Lions series, and you know they probably should have just knocked it on their head after the rugby championship. But they've gone, and yeah, they're just not gelling. They look tired, and they actually played like they were tired on Sunday morning.
Surly, your thoughts? You agree with Steve there that the Wallabies looked fatigued?
Yeah, and they're almost undoing some of the good work that they did in the year, right? Because 2 months ago now, we would have said it was a massively successful season for the Wallabies. But if they go 0-4 now, which is a genuine chance because they've lost the 2 easier games on this tour, then they're going to be in a world of trouble. And yeah, I think it's just depth, right? Like Carter Gordon got the start on the weekend. He's been at the Gold Coast Titans all year. So I don't know if they thought Italy was going to be an easier game for them, but depth in key positions, they're just lacking a little there. And I think it's starting to show at the back end of this tour.
Is that the second game in a row the Italians have beat Aussie in Italy?
It might well be. They bet them recently, right? So it probably is, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. And isn't it great to see?
Oh, you love to see it. Absolutely.
So just confirming, no concern about the Wallabies from you, Steve Devine.
Not one iota.
And that's not because he thinks they're going to be fine. It's because he couldn't care. He's happy that they're crap. Yeah.
I sent so many texts this week of just jabbing. Take that.
Oh, okay. I've got a question for you both here. All 3 of us have randomly been drawn a team, either the All Blacks, England, or Wales, because those are the last 2 games that the All Blacks will play on this Northern Tour. And you've got to make a case for the team that you've randomly been selected. Surly, you were randomly selected England. Make a case for them for beating the All Blacks this weekend.
Well, what if I don't want them to win? I don't want to make a case. I hope they get pumped. But in all honesty, I think this is going to be the hardest game of the tour. I think England, big pack. I too agree that they're going to roll out the kicking game. Twickenham, yeah, I think the English will be really up for this one. And in a Tojo and co, they've got a forward pack that can trouble us, in particular at set piece time. So I think they will see an All Black side missing a few key players up front and have a really good crack at us. So yeah, that's where they would beat us, in a ball fest with the Northern Hemisphere referee, that said referee, just making it a stop-start game that gets no flow about it, no rhythm. If our discipline isn't sorted, then it'll just be 3 points every time. There'll be drop goals, it'll be an aerial assault, and they will drag this into a tough game to watch as a fan, but one that they think is the method to beating the All Blacks. I just really hope they don't.
I had a little bit of vomit in my mouth then.
Well, you're about to be Wales, right? You go.
Do you want to go next, Steve?
Yeah,
Wales.
I'm just gonna say, listen, Welsh rugby, they're a lot smarter than everyone gives them credit for the last 20 matches out of 19, they've been applying the rope-a-dope to World Rugby. They have lost 19 of their last 20 games on purpose to allow for false confidence to be brewed by the All Blacks and targeting this match. That's the only theory I got, and that's what I'm going with.
So do you beat Japan this weekend and then turn it on, or do you lose this one as well?
You lose this one as well.
Okay.
You lose this one as really give them some confidence going into it.
Okay, I like it.
And then you like at the training sessions all week, you have like empty beer bottles lying around, and you really promote that we don't care, and this is going to be an easy win for you, and then you turn up. That's what I think they're going to do.
The ambush.
It'd be one hell of an ambush because they really have put up a facade that they are just
there's a reason they got themselves to 12th in the world on the World Rugby rankings. There is a reason.
Argentina put 50 on them this weekend. They split a 2-game series with Japan and Japan earlier this year. They did not win a game in the Six Nations this year. Late last year. On the northern tour, they lost to South Africa, they lost to Australia, they lost to Wales. They beat the Reds, the Queensland Reds by 1 point in Australia.
Careful here, Paulie. This is going to go viral in Wales if they get up next week, mate. It'll be your face. Steve will be a hero. Steve will have called her.
They lost all 3 tests to Australia last year, and then the Six Nations last year. They didn't win a game either. So they are putting up a really, really good. If this is a bluff, this is a huge bluff by the Welsh rugby team.
When they dig in, they really decide to dig in, I reckon.
Yeah, they're committed. They're committed to the cause.
I'm just trying to think what the bookmakers will make the actual line for the game. Are we talking All Blacks minus 24.5? Is that too much? Is that not enough?
It'll be more than that. If the Argies put 50 on them.
Oh, boy.
It'll be more than that, and I want to see a Caleb Tangito debut.
Well, you might get your chance with the way that...
Unreal.
Yeah. Plus the injuries that the All Blacks are picking up are huge. And that's why I think the All Blacks are going to go undefeated.
How do you always get the All Blacks, by the way? I'm going to interrupt you, mate, because you do the run sheet, and every time you get the All Blacks and you stitch us up. I had to be South Africa last time. You're picking our arch nemesis.
I don't think I got the All Blacks last time, if I remember correctly. So this will be the first time. But the reason that they will beat England and then Wales in consecutive weeks and finish with a Grand Slam tour of the home nations is the fact that they've been able to blood some new players in the first 2. They're creating combinations. Look, I know they have had quite a few injuries, but they've still got the likes of Artie, Severe. If you have a look at that loose forward trio, it's not a matter of who you pick, it's a matter of who you leave out. They went with Larkai, Artie, Savir. We're on the 7 this time. Parker didn't get a go. They've got a whole heap of depth, and they're building a whole heap more depth. And when you get a player like Damian McKenzie coming off the bench and putting on a show like that, like he did against the Scots, well, I think we're fairly safe as long as the referee doesn't play too much of a hand in the game this weekend at Twickenham. Up the All Blacks.
Yeah, well,
Steve's finding that impossible.
There's 2 Frenchies. You got no chance.
Okay, let's have a look at that England All Blacks Test match, and we're doing this on a Monday, so teams haven't been named. We're not sure what the lineups are going to be. So why don't we start there? Where do you think the All Blacks go? First of all, in the back line, Steve.
Yeah, I think it'll be as is. I think maybe Proctor will come to centre and Leicester may go to the wing. That's my gut feel. Or the other option they've opted for this year is D-Mac to 15, Will Jordan to the wing. Just for that kicking option. I don't think that helps us in the air any more or any less. I just think sometimes they like that D-Mac, Bodie Barrett option either side. That's where I think they go. Forwards will be whoever's fit. They won't change. They won't change a lot. I know the All Blacks rate themselves the third game. They've been, that whole quarterfinal, semi-final, final. The third game is the one they really get themselves up for, and that's the reason why they're playing England third up. And this is the one. This is they're treating this as a Rugby World Cup final. This is their Rugby World Cup final, so it'll be last week's game minus injuries. Last week's team, sorry.
Shirley, you thinking the same or something slightly different? Do we keep D-Mac on the bench just because of the impact that he makes when he does come on, or do we, because we need to push someone to the wing to take Caleb's place, do we move someone like a Will Jordan, put D-Mac at the back, or do you keep Will Jordan at the back and possibly, as Steve suggested, move Lester Whanganuku out to the wing and then bring Proctor back into the centres?
Yeah, I think it'll be Proctor in the centres, Lester on the wing, and we keep D-Mac on the bench. I do wonder if they will look at Rieko Ioane, who appears to be well and truly out of favour at the moment, but 87 tests, if you want to just make the one change, you could chuck him straight on the wing and keep Lester at centre, but Lester did get gassed a couple times there on defence, so yeah, I would prefer to keep Damien off the bench. I think the impact he has had over the last few weeks has been massive, and I think that's almost his perfect role, it seems, at the moment. Although there is merits in starting him so that we get to see Ruben Love, because I'm a massive Ruben Love fan, but I think they'll save that opportunity for Wales. So, yeah, I'm going Lester to the wing, Proctor at centre, D-Mac stays off the bench.
Steve, I guess if England do go ahead with the game plan that you have suggested, where they will be punting the ball down into the corners, keeping the pressure on, looking to pick up points whenever they're in the All Blacks half, what's the best, I guess, counter attack to sort of foil that sort of game plan?
Well, for me, there's always just been one option to beat size, and that's speed. You've got to be quick. Speed beats size every day, and that's all you can do. It's got to be quick. Quick ruck ball, get over the advantage line, quick ruck ball, and just run them off their feet. That's the other thing. You're not going to go head to head with them. Discipline will come down. If the All Blacks have less penalties than England, I think we'll win the match. And if it's the other way around, I think they'll win the match.
Shirley, what game plan do you think the All Blacks should go into this test match with?
Well, it's going to be interesting, right? Because English, even watching them on the weekend, they bring that umbrella D. They want to trap you in the middle of the paddock, and historically we've struggled a little bit with that as well. So I hope we don't just constantly bring in these little nudges to turn them around, because they can go so 50-50, and at times the All Blacks have been frustrating when they're doing that. But I think they will bring in a short kicking game. And I'm excited to see guys like Quinn Tupaia and that who can get us gain line and are really physical, abrasive runners like a Lester. Some of those are guys that'll just carry into bodies and get us over gain line, try generate quick ball, and then we can go from there. I think that's going to be crucial for us. If we get caught behind gain line, it's going to be a really long day at the office.
Yeah, you got to put the big guys on George Ford. He's the weakest link, and if he defends in the line, you got to run it at him. If he doesn't defend in the line and defends down the back, then you got to kick it to him and try and put a big boy on him. And I truly believe it's time to bring in the headbutt, chip kick, pass the ball, headbutt over the defensive line, and have runners going through the line.
You what?
Yeah, I know it's controversial, but it's the only way forward. Pass the ball high, little headbutt from centre over the line, and boom, we got three people running through, and try time.
Wait, so we're bringing a header in against the English, the home of football.
How ironic.
Isn't it? It's meant to happen. It's meant to be.
I did not expect you to end that sentence with that suggestion.
Yeah, listen, look, Geordie scored against, who did Geordie score against doing it? Oh, the Aussies.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that was planned, though.
I know it wasn't planned, but it should be planned this time. And, Carlos used to do it off the knee all the time. They banned that because it was too fun. So,
yes. Yeah.
It's the only option. The time it takes to drop the ball on the foot, players read it, they know what's going on. Boom, straight pass, straight to centre, little headbutt over the line, and off we go.
So you're saying a pass from Bodie Barrett straight to whoever's playing centre, and that, but to his head,
Yep.
and then the centre, then
just a little nudge over the winger would have come up
just over the back of the English defensive line,
just over the top, and boom, we got three people running through onto a ball on the ground. Too easy.
Have you been on Russie's Twitter, have you? Have you been hanging out there? This is a Russie move.
That's the best way to attack the space, people. And,
look,
thank me later. In fact, if the TAB was to take a power play on it, I'd be all over it.
Well, they should. A try for headbutt this weekend.
I don't think even Jonah Lomu could do that on Jonah Lomu Rugby back in the day. So I'd be very surprised to see it, but it'd be a very welcome surprise. 100%.
Innovation. It's called innovation.
No, you are certainly thinking outside the square.
I did not see this coming. This is good.
Let's just touch on a couple of the other games this weekend. South Africa travel to Italy to take on the Italians. Of course, the Italians coming off that morale-boosting win over the Wallabies. South Africa, of course, wow, just so impressive against the French. Do we see this game going either way? Can the Italians stick with the South Africans here, Surly?
Nah, I think last weekend would have been a warning shot that you can't underestimate the Italians, and I think South Africa will be too good. Italy paying $7.50, and I think that's harsh in a way, but in the same time, it's fair. They will be too strong.
Steve, can you see the Italians keeping it close?
Speed beats size. They've only got one option. They're not going to take them up front, so they like the razzle dazzle, the Italians. So that's their move. That's their game. They've got to start from the first minute, and they've got to keep going at the 80th minute. And that's the best way they're going to get a shot. I can't see it happening, but there'll be a few changes there, and let's just hope Irassi had one of those lock-in sessions and everyone's still drunk.
I'm just having a look. The Italians are 21.5-point underdogs. So if we look forward to the future, you both think that Wales will be more than 21.5-point underdogs against the All Blacks?
Easily.
I'm saying closer to 30 than 20.
28.5? Is that enough? 4 converted tries? Is that enough?
Yeah, I think it'll be 30.
Wow. I'm not going to say anything because I think you're probably very, very close to it. The All Blacks are only slight favourites against England, $1.67, 2.5-point favourites. But the other game I just wanted to touch on was the Irish up against Australia. And the bookies have made Ireland a $1.20 favourite here. Wallabies are $4.40, and they are 11.5-point underdogs, the Wallabies. Shirley?
Yeah, I think
the Wallabies.
I think Ireland get this. I think the Wallabies are on the slide for sure, and I think they just can't wait to be on that plane back home. Enjoy summer on the Gold Coast where life's just a whole lot better. So, yeah, I think Ireland win.
Steve?
I'm a bit different on this one. I just think when a professional team gets embarrassed, the way the Aussies were, you fight back and you turn up. You're angry all week, and you turn up on Saturday. And I just think that $4.40 is a piece of me. And I also think definitely I'd be on the 1-12. It's going to be closer than we think. I think they got the kick in the backside they needed, the Wallabies. I actually think they can do this one. If they don't, it'll be tight, and that $2.90 for 1-12 for Ireland is certainly probably the pick of the two bets for Ireland for me.
Wow, yeah, I like that. I hope the Wallabies have the cattle to actually do that, because you can get either team to win by under 7.5 at $3 if you think it's really going to be close in that Wallabies-Irish Test match, right? We've talked about the odds. We may as well tell everyone where we're going to put our money. Do we want to start with Surly first?
Yeah, sure thing. I will go $50 on the All Blacks 1-12 at $2.70, just straight on that. And then I'll chuck in a little multi. All Blacks 1-12, Australia plus 11.5, and Scotland head-to-head against Argentina at $8.46.
Did Steve just convince you to take the Wallabies plus 11.5 then?
Pretty much. I think 11.5 is too much, but yeah, once he convinced me to have a look at what the line was, and then convinced me to jump on the plus 11.5. I think Ireland win, but 7 to 10 points. 11.5 outside that, if my math is correct, so I'll take it.
I guess that makes you a punting influencer, Steve. So why don't you tell us where you're going to go?
Oh, and 25 on a header try.
What's that paying? I just want that must be 3 numbers.
I'll pass your request on to the bookies and see what they come up with.
Triple digits.
And then I'll load up. I really like what you just said before, either team to win by less than 7 points in the Aussie Ireland match.
$3.
$3. I'll have 50 on that.
Yep.
And I'll have $50 on Australia at $4.40.
Oh,
gee.
I've got nothing to lose, right?
No, making a late charge.
I'm not gonna lose as much as Perry's lost this year.
yeah, true. It's a free swing.
Yes, it has nothing to do with the fact that you've been on probably a half of the shows that Pitty's been on.
Nah, but no one's catching Pitty down the bottom.
Okay.
He hasn't won a bet, has he? So you literally can't lose them.
I'm just gonna
I'm going to take the All Blacks head-to-head at $1.30 or something, aren't you?
The All Blacks are $1.67 head-to-head.
I'm so responsible.
I'm up by $1,067, so I'm just going to take the All Blacks head-to-head.
I'm going to take the All Blacks head-to-head, a whole 100 on at $1.67.
There he is.
Boom. Hey, well, just sit back and enjoy the game. Or as Steve said, don't sit back and enjoy the game because it's not going to be an enjoyable game.
Yeah, sleep in.
Tell me what's both teams' first scoring play? England's first scoring play to be a penalty. What's that paying?
First scoring play. I don't think that is. Hold on. First scoring play, team play. England penalty, $2.50.
Ooh,
Bargain.
England penalty, $2.50 for the first scoring play.
No, I want England's first scoring play to be a penalty. I'll have $33 on that. $33 on Australia to beat Ireland, and $33 on both teams to win, either team to win by less than 7 or less, 7 or less.
Okay, I just want to clarify that. England penalty at $2.50 to be the first scoring play of the game. So,
yep. Okay, I'm happy with that. Of the game.
Okay, yep. No, perfect. Yeah, I like the way you did that. What are you up to this weekend then, Steve? You're out fishing?
I can tell you what I'm not doing.
Watching a game.
Getting up at 4 a.m. to watch England play. Not going to do it. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the worst game of rugby we've seen all year. And that's including whatever that was that happened in Wellington earlier.
And Chicago?
Yeah. At least the last 15 of Chicago was all right.
Yeah.
I just feel this game is... I just feel it's English rugby, and I don't watch it.
Yeah, it sounds like the game total set at 50.5. The way you're talking, I'm thinking, should I go the under 50.5 at $1.90?
What's that? 12 drop goals by George Ford.
Searley, what are you up to, mate?
Yeah, well, I am going to get up and watch the game, although I'm starting to question that. So maybe come back to me later in the week. But I had intentions of doing it. Steve might have talked me out of it. But nah, I'll watch the games. It's the only oval ball code left on our TV screens. So you got to watch every game you get dished up now, because in 2 weeks' time, we're going to miss it for a couple months. So I'll be up.
Nice. I'm more likely to still be up to watch the game than I am of getting up to watch the game.
Have you got one of Rusty's sessions booked, do you?
You know what? Actually, I do. I have a fancy dress long weekend planned
Oh,
for this weekend with a few of the boys. I think this is our 13th year in a row. We've got together on a weekend in November and have a bit of a layer up. So there is a chance that I will still be up.
What are you going as?
I can't, because it's a fancy dress. I can't say, but the theme is 80s icons or TV icons. So I don't
You'd
want to
make
say
a
it
good
out
Prince.
loud, but
Yeah, you'd make a good Prince, Michael Jackson.
no, just maybe. You know what I'm talking about, fool?
oh, there we go.
Wait a
I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, it's going to work.
Are we talking Mr. T now?
When you got those, of course you have to go as Mr. T.
What about you're going to buy one of those, whatever you call it, like a bald
Stay-
thing, like that.
Stay right there.
Yeah. Oh, he's got it. We're going to get a
Early glimpse.
yeah. Tonight, Matthew, I'm Mr. T.
I haven't quite.
Oh,
I've got to trim it a bit. I've got my moustache in full play. Can you see that?
yeah, you can. Shit, well done. Is that a Timu job, is it?
That is sensational.
I've got to take the feather out. That's a bit. I'm not sure that should be on.
Yeah, no, that's
podcast
much
in this
better.
day and age. But I don't know what you're talking about, fool.
Sensational. I think on that note, we're going to leave today. Thank you.
We're going to call it a day there. Yeah.
I'd like to thank Mr. T for turning up. I'd like to thank Surly. And I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and either watching and or listening. Until next week, we'll be back with another edition. Well, actually, it could be the final edition of the League Up.
Why? Because of the Mr. T thing? Or because of...
Pretty good chance I won't be on a team ever again.
Beauty. Check you out later.